I'm Shay Russell for mining.com.au, and joining me today is the Managing Director for Black Canyon, Brendan Cummins. Brendan, how are you this morning?
Yeah, good. Thanks, Shay. Really pleased with the cap raising we just completed. So it's always good to get a bit more money in the bank.
It certainly is, and one of my favourite things about explorers is when they are cashed up and ready to spend that money on exploration. Tell me, what will these funds be going towards?
Well, as usual, with Black Canyon, we have kept the structure really tight, and so we've done a modest raise this time around with a SPP on the back end. So that'll give us enough money to go out and get that drill rig back on ground. And one of the targets that we've been pursuing now for some time is the higher grade Wandanya project. Just desperate to get some holes into that to see what it's going to look like once we get the drill rig out there. The surface samples are coming in that 55 to 60% range manganese. I don't think that we probably won't get that in the complete profiles we drill down, but anything above 25-30%, I think will be a great outcome over several metres thickness. So looking forward to that. Also want to do some infill drilling at KR2, which is currently inferred, so we want to upgrade that to indicated. Continue the metallurgical test work. I'm just trying to squeeze a bit more manganese out of these deposits. We can consistently produce 32% product. We want to get better than that. We want to produce, in that 35-36%. So more work to be done there. And also with our downstream, there's some hydrometallurgical work that we need to do as well. So plenty on, and we need to do it cheaply and efficiently, and ensure that we continue the news flow for the company.
Now, in past conversations, you've talked about ongoing discussions with Offtake Partners. Tell me, how are these progressing?
Yeah, look, they are ongoing. There's a lot of interest in what we're doing with these manganese projects up in the Pilbara. The situation remains the same. You've got Groote Eylandt out of action. They're saying it is going to be back up and running early March 2025. That remains to be seen, I guess, if they can get that going. So there's still a lot of interest in manganese. There's always a lot of interest in a high-grade manganese. But in overall manganese units, that's where Black Canyon, we see a great opportunity for us to come into the market at some point. And with our oxide material as well, there's demand for that 32 to 35% material out of India and China. And so I think going forward, that'll be the main discussions we have with groups from those countries.
And also, maybe not to be looking too far forward, but I did hear you mention downstream opportunities at the start of today's conversation. Tell me, what are you investigating in this downstream opportunity basket?
So with the manganese ores that we have discovered up there in the Pilbara, we have done sufficient test work now to be able to produce the high purity manganese sulfate from those ores. So we're looking at locations in Australia. Some of our peers, I guess, have gone overseas to the US and to China. It'd be great if we could keep it an Australian story. Our own ores producing high purity manganese sulfate. So the key criteria for the company is really looking at a location where you've got access to port, access to reagents, the consumables, a skilled workforce, and renewable power. That's a big ticket item to be able to demonstrate renewable power. So we're looking at several locations across Australia, and I think we're honing in on that. To be honest, the scoping study did take a lot of my time, so the high purity story did go a bit to the back burner. But now we're ready to get back onto that and continue the test work and continue the location studies to figure out where we should be in Australia.
I look forward to hearing more about those conversations. But before we leave today, you did mention that obviously with the capital raising, there is going to be exploration done on certain parts of your project as well as infill drilling. Tell me, when will we get a chance to look at those results?
Well, fingers crossed. The rig should be turning up certainly in the next 2 to 3 weeks at Wandanya. And then it's only a small program, so we should be able to get through it reasonably quickly, and then waiting for assays. So, turnaround time probably 4 to 6 weeks for Wandanya, and then possibly add another week for the KR2 infill drilling. Hopefully the infill drilling will also be able to deliver us an upgraded mineral source, and so we'll also get onto that as well. So So those two are the key programs. We've also just completed a IP survey at one of our high-grade targets at Fig Tree. It's located 30 kilometres south of Woody Woody, and there's quite a lot of high-grade mineralisation surface there. Certainly in that 15 to 25% material manganese range. It's outcropping in that location. A lot of historic drilling has already intersected, 10 to 15 metre intervals at, 15 to 20% manganese. So we just wanted to get an IP survey completed out there just to firm up some drill targets. And collectively, once we've done enough, review of all the information, then we'll start planning a drill program out there as well.
Brendan, it sounds like there's lots of news to come over the next couple of months. Thank you so much for being here. Please know I'll be watching what's happening.
I appreciate your time. Thanks, Shay. And anyone can reach out to myself or go to our website or look us up on LinkedIn and Twitter. There's always plenty of news flow.